across the country. That tops the record set on July 4th of this year. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is back in the hospital after a blood test was described as alarming. Weinstein's attorney says he was rushed to a local hospital in New York and is expected to remain there until his condition stabilizes. And Stoli Group USA, the maker of Stoli Vodka, is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the U.S. The bankruptcy filing only impacts the company's U.S. business, and its products will remain on store shelves throughout the process. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
It's Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Get matched with your perfect bed and save up to $700 on a wide selection of quality mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base with a qualifying purchase. See store for details.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
21 games into the NBA season, is it possible that Father Time is tapping LeBron James on his shoulder? Over the past 4 games, LeBron looks like a player approaching his 40th birthday. LeBron, who turns 40 on December 30th, made only 4 of 16 shots Monday night in the Lakers' 29-point blowout loss at Minnesota. It's the 6th straight game LeBron has shot below 45%. He finished with a season-low 10 points. This is LeBron's worst shooting stretch since 2004. He also has missed 19 straight three-pointers. LeBron has played in all 21 games this season. He looks like he could use a night off. The Lakers, 2-5 in their last 7 games, are in Miami on Wednesday. It's doubtful LeBron will sit out that game, but sometime soon, Lakers coach J.J. Redick needs to give LeBron a game to regroup. Father Time seems to be showing up at Lakers games a little more than usual this season. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavisSmileyShow.com. That's the TavisSmileyShow.com or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, two conversations. Up first, a conversation with the presumptive new chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, New York Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, will lead the CBC's largest membership ever, about 62 members, and we will check in with her at the top of hour two. On the B side of hour two, a brief chat with the White House Director of Black Media, Roderica Applewhite. Joe Biden is likely on his last trip abroad as president right now. It's a 3-day visit to Angola, his first visit to sub-Saharan Africa, so we'll check in with Roderica Applewhite on the B side of hour two. In our third hour.
Well, now that's all right, now, mama. That's all right for you.
Elvis was from the Deep South, so he wanted to be around black people. I asked him, how did you come about really loving black people's music?
Right now, mama.
He said he would go around to black churches and just stand at the windows and listen to their music.
He was a prime example of showing what happens when you put together music coming down from the mountains and music coming up the Mississippi River, and where that meets and they explode, and that became rock and roll.
I said shake, rattle, and roll.
Nobody white was singing like that or wasn't even acting like that on stage.
Shake, rattle, and roll. I said shake.
We thought it was funny because we would say things like, oh, he's just trying to be black. But he really wasn't. That was just how he was. That was the controversy that everybody was having at that time, because his fans didn't want him to be black. And I don't even think they realized that's the kind of singing he was doing. But we as black artists and black singers, we could tell the difference between Elvis and the other white singers that were coming along at that time. The world was trying to fight us not to do that, to keep separated. But music is not going to separate you. Music is going to bring you together.
While Black America was still grieving the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., white America was celebrating the return of their king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, in his new Netflix documentary, Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley. Jason He here takes us inside Elvis's 1968 comeback special and offers new insights into Elvis's tribute to both Dr. King and Robert F. Bobby Kennedy. If you never thought about it, this comeback concert that we've heard about and read about and seen documentaries about is in 1968, the same year, of course, in which Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy are shot down. And so Jason gives us an interesting look at Elvis's return, his tribute, as I said, to both King and Kennedy in this comeback concert that I never really focused in on. It's a fascinating documentary about Elvis's relationship, or lack thereof, to the black community. We'll talk about it in our third hour. The Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley is the new documentary right now on Netflix. But in this first hour, when we come forward, we'll commence the show talking politics with the host of the very popular flagship podcast, if I can say it, #WokeAF Daily, Danielle Moody. And there's a lot to talk about with Danielle in this hour. This story about the pardon of Hunter Biden just won't go away. The president, as I said, is in Angola. On his way there, his press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, was asked about this. And her response is really interesting. We'll play it for you, and we'll unpack that. I want to get Danielle's take on this pardon, but it's been fascinating because there are a lot of Democrats who've gone in on the president for this pardon, that it was a mistake for a variety of reasons. We'll talk about that. There are others who stood by him. I saw Jasmine Crockett defending the president, Go Joe, as she put it. I saw Eric Holder, the former attorney general, defending the president, which is fascinating. This thing cuts a variety of ways, and we'll chop it up when we get started here with Danielle Moody in this first hour of Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
An official message from Medicare. Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
We wish you a holiday season filled with peace and love and a new year rich with blessings. Mask up and stay safe. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
People making lists, buying special gifts.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
All right, Danielle Moody is our guest in his first hour. Pleased to have her back on this program. Before we jump straight to her, here now some sound from Corinne Jean-Pierre. You know, the president's sister press secretary. Aboard Air Force One on their way to Angola. This issue came up in the press pool, and here's what she had to say. Remember, now she's on Air Force One, so the sound is not as clear as it would normally be, but you'll hear what she had to say.
I would encourage everyone to read in full the president's statement. I think he lays out his thought process. He lays out how he came to this decision. He came to this decision this weekend, so let's be very clear about that. He says it himself. It's in his voice. He said he came to this decision this weekend. And he said he wrestled with this. And because he believes in the justice system, but he also believes that the war politics infected the process and led to a miscarriage of justice. This is his words. I'm just repeating what the president said. He also said that no reasonable person, if you are looking at this in a good faith way, if you are looking at the facts of Hunter's cases and you can't reach any other conclusion, right? And what we have seen, and not just us, there's other people who have commented on the president's actions in the last 24 hours. I've lost track of time, and could see that Hunter was singled out, and because his last name was Biden, because he was the president's son. That's what we saw, and so the president believed enough is enough, and the president took action, and he also believes that they tried to break his son in order to break him. That's what we saw. And this, again, I am just repeating what the president said. I think the statement in full really lays out his thought process. He said that he came to this decision this weekend and he wrestled with it. It wasn't an easy decision to make.
So there you have Corinne Jean-Pierre, the president's press secretary aboard Air Force One on their way to Angola, where the president is now, as I mentioned earlier, for a 3-day visit to Angola, likely his last trip overseas. And Corinne got asked about this. So first of all, before I give you my take on what Corinne had to say, Danielle Moody's, good to hear your voice again. How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing the best I can. If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. Let me just tell you what I heard, and this is what you and I do every day. As a matter of fact, I was just teaching a class not long ago about this to a bunch of students about how to read print, how to listen to audio. I give courses, I teach courses on this, and it's not as simple as one might think to learn to master this. It's taken me 30-plus years to do it. But I essentially teach in these classes that you have to read for what's not there. You have to interrogate what you're reading as you're reading it. And every time you read a story, New York Times, Washington Post, anywhere else, if you learn to read this way, you will see what the press, what the reporter is not telling you in the story, what they left out of the story. Don't just read for what's there. You got to read for what's not there. It ain't even about just reading between the lines. I digress on that. The same thing listening to audio. So you hear what they're saying, but there are always gaps, there are always holes, there are always things in the audio to interrogate. So you heard what she said, and let me tell you what I just heard. What I heard her say was that the president came to this decision over the weekend. I'm not sure I buy that. I said yesterday, I don't believe that Joe Biden ever thought that he would not pardon his son. But if we are to believe the president, he just now came to this decision over the weekend. The second thing I heard her say was that the president wrestled with this. Did he really? I mean, he may have wrestled with the political fallout that was to come, but if the storyline is that it's a father and a son, and of course he did it to protect his son, what are you wrestling with? If you're the father and he's the son, are we really wrestling here? Okay. The third thing I heard her say was that that he believes that politics were played on this political issue. Did you just come to that decision over the weekend? This has been going on for years now. And you just figured out over the weekend that there were politics being played on this issue. This is what I heard when I heard Corinne, to her credit, just repeating the president. I like Corinne. I ain't going after her. I'm just making the point of what I heard and what I didn't hear. And then she said that no reasonable person, quoting the president, that no reasonable person could disagree. Well, am I unreasonable? Are these other Democrats unreasonable because they see it differently? They disagree with the president on this issue? How can we be labeled across the board as unreasonable, respectfully, because we disagree with the president? That's what I heard. He's calling all the rest of us unreasonable if we don't reach the same conclusion that he reached. And finally, here's the real part, the deepest part for me, Daniela, what I did not hear. I have yet to hear what happened during this entire process that changed the president's mind. I'm circling back to point number one. If you believe that he just now came to this decision over the weekend, then somebody's got to tell me, Mr. President, Madam Press Secretary, somebody's got to tell me what happened that changed his mind, because repeatedly he told us he wasn't going to do this. Now, I ain't got to all the other black and brown folk that he ought to be pardoning. I'll get to that a little bit later in this conversation. But I don't understand, I'm not naive here, what happened that allowed or helped or aided and abetted the president in changing his mind after all the times he told us he was not going to pardon his son. So you listen for what's there, for what's being said, you read for what's being written, but you also got to interrogate what's not being said. And I have not heard an answer to that question yet. If you want us to believe that you just now, after all this wrestling, all this soul searching, praying and fasting and whatever you were doing to help you get this decision, what changed? I digress. The microphone is yours, Danielle Moody.
I appreciate the walkthrough. I think that what I find issue with is that Joe Biden from the beginning should have been talking about the attacks on his son as political warfare, because that is exactly what it was. And to your point, no, he did not come to that conclusion over the weekend. This has been ongoing for the last 4 years. We've heard about Hunter Biden's laptop. They have held how many hearings on Capitol Hill with regard to Hunter Biden? Hunter Biden showed up on Capitol Hill and said, I'm willing to have a full press sit down, open door meeting that can be televised. I'll answer all of your questions. They decided not to do that. So what the problem here is that Joe Biden is a politician for another century, not the one that we are currently living in and battling in. And if I were Joe Biden, I would have said from the beginning, I will absolutely not interfere in the Department of Justice's process here, but I will make the determination myself when that time comes.
Exactly.
About whether or not I feel as if the job was thorough and I feel like it was politicized.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we all know that for anyone else without the last name Biden, had they gone through this same process, there would be no sentencing that was going to be taking place. He paid back the taxes that he didn't pay. He paid that back and paid it back plus the interest, right? He filled out a form incorrectly to purchase a weapon that should have never happened, right? Okay, those two things are true. But the fact that Hunter Biden has been dragged through the press, dragged through this political circus over the last 4 years is nothing more than Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans undoing, trying to find anything to associate Joe Biden with being in a quote-unquote crime family. So I do take issue, Tavis, I take issue with the Democrats now doing what they famously do, which is eating their own.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that what Hunter Biden has been charged with was political because Merrick Garland hasn't known what he's been doing since he came into that job.
Mm-hmm.
Merrick Garland didn't go after Donald Trump because of politics, not because he actually gave a damn about the rule of law. He didn't want it to look a certain way. And so to create some perception of balance, he decided to tilt the scales in the other way and go after Hunter Biden for something that a regular citizen would not have been charged with. Here we have politics at play here, absolutely. And Joe Biden fell for the trap and the rope-a-dope because he could have easily steered himself out of this from the beginning.
I want to get back to Merrick Garland in just a second. You make a powerful point, and I want to circle back to that. So put a pin in that for just a moment. No doubt about the fact that the one thing that he and the president both have in common, although they disagree on this particular issue of Hunter Biden for obvious reasons, is that they're both institutionalists. And you cannot ever assess or interrogate the way that Joe Biden moves or doesn't move, the way that Merrick Garland moves or doesn't move as AG, without considering that they are both dyed-in-the-wool institutionalists. Put a pin in that for just a second. To the point that Danielle made a moment ago, she really echoes what Eric Holder, the former attorney general, has said publicly, which is that if Hunter Biden's last name was Smith, if he were Hunter Smith and not Hunter Biden, he would not have been dragged through this in the way that he was. And because the Republicans have played politics with this all the way through, then Eric Holder supports the president in pardoning his son precisely again because of all the politics played on this particular issue. Now, that said, let me ask you a few other questions right quick. Corinne Jean-Pierre on Air Force One was asked, and it's a great question, whoever asked it, and I want to ask you now, whether or not we should regard this, Danielle Moody, as the president repeatedly lying to the American people, or whether or not this is just the president playing politics as the right would play politics. Is it politicking, or is the president just guilty of lying repeatedly to the American people?
It's politicking. You know, here at the end of the day, we know that Joe Biden has, you know, with regard to the rule of law, way more integrity and a moral compass that is lacking from this current iteration of the MAGA Republican Party. And to equate these two things, which is what some Democrats are doing in the press right now, to say that all of the things that Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans have done over the last 9 years somehow now is magically erased because the president of the United States decided to pardon his son. is malfeasance at this point on the part of Democrats and politicians in general, because these two things are not the same. And to even equate them as saying, oh, well, now Donald Trump can just do whatever he wants. Guess what? Donald Trump's been doing whatever he wants for the last 10 years. So this decision, all it does is take Hunter Biden out of harm's way of a Trump regime that is getting ready to take over. And God knows what they would have done, where they would have put Hunter Biden.
I don't...
The new head of the Department of Justice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Donald Trump, that he would be on the up and, I mean, give me a break.
I'd only add one thing to that. Thing to that. As I said yesterday, and you and I agree on this, I don't believe that Donald Trump needed Joe Biden to make this particular move, pardoning his son, to embolden Donald Trump. To your brilliant point, Donald Trump has been doing what he wanted to do. He's going to keep on doing what he wants to do. And now that he has immunity from the Supreme Court, he'll do more. So again, I don't buy the argument that he's necessarily emboldened by what the president did. He doesn't need any help. But I think what it does do, and I want to see if you and I are simpatico on this, I think what it does do is that it makes it more difficult for the Democrats to come after him, to hold him accountable for not politicizing the Justice Department, given what Joe Biden did do. I think that is a real issue.
Here's what I will say, Tavis, is that Democrats need to stop playing by rules that no longer exist.
Okay.
They're the only ones that are still operating in this sense of rules and political norms. The Republican Party has long since abandoned, right, the confines, the shackles of what it means to operate inside a lawful society. So, again, tell me why I can't go after Donald Trump and call him out on the myriad of ways that, I don't know, Jared Kushner magically walked away with $2 billion following his tenure in the Trump administration, or how all of a sudden all of these documents that were not Donald Trump's magically appeared at his resort, or how he has pardoned Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, and the list, Paul Manafort, and the list goes on of people that have been entangled with the Russian government and have been entangled with grifting off of the American people. Give me a break.
Let me answer that. Let me answer that. You asked the question why. Your question started with why. Let me answer that, and then we come forward. I'll give you a chance to respond to this. So here's the answer. And again, I don't want to say playing devil's advocate because I'm about to quote my big mama, and I don't want to call her a devil's advocate. But here's my point. My big mama, and I'm sure your grandmother, and everybody listening right now had a grandmother, grandfather who told us repeatedly what? 2 wrongs don't make a right. That's how we were raised. It's the best of our tradition. That 2 wrongs don't make a right. And however one looks at this, one can come to this conclusion that the Democrats, whatever one thinks of them, let me put it another way. On the one hand, you could call the Democrats spineless, jellybacks, spaghetti backs. You can call them a bunch of names on the one hand for not playing the game the way the Republicans do. On the other hand, one could argue, I think, with some credibility, that the Democrats have tried to at least hold the line on governing by a certain set of immutable principles. And so because we're trying not to be like them, they're not like us, because we're trying not to be like them, we're not going to go to we're not going to the cesspool. We're not going to play the game the way they play it. We're not going to abandon all of our principles, our belief in this notion of democracy. What did Michelle Obama say? She may have been wrong. When they go low, we go high. That's Michelle Obama. That's what the Democrats have always tried to do. They've tried to hold the line and govern by a certain set of principles. But here comes Danielle Moody saying, well, if they did it, we ought to do it. If they ain't playing by the rules, we ought not play by the rules. A couple different ways of seeing this. This is getting good. More with Danielle Moody when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. The White House is denying President Biden lied when he previously said he would not pardon his son Hunter. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters on Air Force One that Biden came to this decision this weekend. A doctor is offering safety tips for holiday decorations. Carol Parsons, an emergency medicine physician for the Cleveland Clinic, says falls from ladders is one of the most common injuries. He says make sure the ladder is firmly planted in the ground, have someone else with you, and don't overreach when trying to hang lights. Hannah Kobayashi, missing since November, intentionally missed her flight from LAX to NYC, according to the LAPD. Her phone last pinged at LAX on November 11th. She was seen talking to an airline agent but didn't board a flight. And Kendrick Lamar's GNX debuted at #1 on Billboard 200, his 5th consecutive chart topper. The surprise album, released on November 22nd, sold nearly 320,000 units. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
It's Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Get matched with your perfect bed and save up to $700 on a wide selection of quality mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base with a qualifying purchase. See store for details.
Is this the tether? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
21 games into the NBA season, is it possible that Father Time is tapping LeBron James on his shoulder? Over the past 4 games, LeBron looks like a player approaching his 40th birthday. LeBron, who turns 40 on December 30th, made only 4 of 16 shots Monday night in the Lakers' 29-point blowout loss at Minnesota. It's the 6th straight game LeBron has shot below 45%. He finished with a season-low 10 points. This is LeBron's worst shooting stretch since 2004. He also has missed 19 straight three-pointers. LeBron has played in all 21 games this season. He looks like he could use a night off. The Lakers, 2-5 in their last 7 games, are in Miami on Wednesday. It's doubtful LeBron will sit out that game, but sometime soon, Lakers coach J.J. Redick needs to give LeBron a game to regroup. Father Time seems to be showing up at Lakers games a little more than usual this season. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
Environmental justice is racial justice.
Environmental justice is social justice.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays, from custom holiday cards and photo gifts to laptops and gaming systems, even shipping solutions. And now save up to $350 on select computers. In-store only. Offer ends 12/28. Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I was so excited when I heard this sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
Is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
You're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet, now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Danielle Moody, host of the very popular podcast, #WokeAF Daily. And we are in a spirited conversation right now about Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter. There are many Democrats who are fuming over this decision. They believe that if it doesn't just embolden Donald Trump, it certainly makes it more difficult for Democrats, many believe, to critique Trump when he continues and does a far worse job of politicizing the Department of Justice. I was just saying to Danielle Moody moments ago that we were all taught by our big mamas, our grandparents, that two wrongs don't make a right. Let me just read. I'm getting all kind of messages, Danielle. Let me just read one. Tavis, this nonsense is why the Democrats lost, both outright at the polls and in their inability to inspire 7 million Democratic voters to get to the polls. He said he would not pardon his son, and he did. That is dishonest. She, Danielle, is arguing that two wrongs make a right. Your response?
So here's what I'm saying. Democrats need to understand that the game that they are playing has changed. Mm-hmm. The rules that they used to abide by do not apply any longer. So this tit for tat that they have set up, because they set themselves up here, there is no comparison between the things that Donald Trump has done to our government and benefited from and pocketed from over the last 10 years and Hunter Biden filling out a form wrong. It's not the same damn thing. So I am not saying, two wrongs make a right, because frankly, I don't think that what Joe Biden did is wrong. Have done an incredible job of politicizing every goddamn thing. And the lack of a backbone by Merrick Garland is the reason why Donald Trump is walking back into the White House.
And what about
to tell me that somehow Hunter Biden, that has never been an elected official, has never run for office, filling out a form wrong with trying to access a gun for himself, comparison to stealing documents, inciting an insurrection, and pardoning your inner circle of criminals? Then I don't know what to do.
So here's my pushback, and I'm just again ideologically pushing back here for the sake of pulling the best out of Danielle. Not that she needs any help to do that, but here's my thesis. I've said many times on this program, and I'm not so sure that Danielle and I disagree on this part. Maybe we do. I don't know. But I believe that our democracy is fragile. I believe our democracy is on the precipice. My read of history suggests to me that every single empire in the history of the world at some point has a reckoning. Oftentimes they implode, they falter, they fail, but there is no empire. Read your history. There is no empire in the history of the world that at some point that did not have a reckoning. And I believe that's where this democracy, this experiment in democracy, I say all the time that we're not a democracy. We're an experiment in democracy. We do have a Madisonian framework for democracy, but we're not quite there yet. Indeed, if I had more time, I could argue that we've really become a plutocracy, an oligarchy with elections. I digress on that for now. But we are at best an experiment in democracy. Give the Democrats credit for this. At least, as I said earlier, they've tried to hold the line on governing by some principles, given the way that Donald Trump has no principles except what's best for him. That is his principle. Whatever's best for me, that's what I'm going to do. So Democrats have at least tried to hold the line on that. So I don't want listeners to hear, unless you want them to hear this, Danielle, that Democrats should abandon all of their principles just because Republicans act a fool.
I don't think that Democrats should abandon all of their principles, but I think that Democrats need to understand and evaluate what it is that they believe winning looks like in this movement in moving forward. Because the thing is, we're not winning because we're not operating with clear eyes. And instead of going after the enemies of democracy, we tend to just instead go after each other. Right? So instead of working this past election to have people in this country understand that economically, we have never been more viable in comparison to our global partners and allies, that the United States' economy, as of course CNBC and others want to tell us after the election, right? Oh, cheapest Thanksgiving. Oh, more jobs and all of these things that are now going to go the way of the dodo bird because of the election of Donald Trump. That should have been the conversation that we were having, but we didn't because we wanted to play footsie with Liz Cheney and hold hands with Republicans to show that we're the adults in the room. The fact is that the table has been flipped over, right? And our democracy has been defecated on, right? So at what point are you going to stop trying to clean this place up and recognize that we need something new and a new framework for winning and a new framework for what an actual inclusive, real democracy looks like? Because we know that what we have been offered, right, never had envisioned us as a part of it to begin with. And by us, I mean Black people.
Nope, I get it.
Right?
Yeah, there's nothing you've said at the end there that I disagree with. And I think that new way to consider, that new way of winning is to advance an agenda that is more progressive. I think that is the answer. I don't think the answer, I'm not suggesting you said this, I don't think the answer is necessarily abandoning principles. I do believe the answer is advancing an agenda that is more unapologetically progressive. I digress on that for now. Let me ask you this, watching my time. Do you believe, let me just back up. Danielle said earlier that she does not believe that Joe Biden was wrong to pardon his son. I get that. Do you believe, though, that that decision, albeit not wrong in your viewpoint, is going to in any way damage his legacy?
Oh, Joe Biden's legacy is damaged, and it ain't the pardon, right? Like, let us be clear that, like, that is going to be the least of Joe Biden's legacy issues.
Okay.
Like, if that was going to be it, then he would be doing a bang up job.
I didn't see that coming, but it's funny. It's funny, and it may very well be true. And one could argue, Danielle, that Joe Biden already knows that, so he's just throwing caution to the wind. He's like, they gonna go in on me anyway, so I might as well. Why should they go in on me? And I got to go visit my son in prison. So I get it.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct, she says. When we come forward, I have not forgotten. That was hilarious. When we come forward, I have not forgotten the point about Merrick Garland that I wanted to make. And let me just tease this right quick, and I'll let Danielle respond when we come forward. Actually, I'll more fully develop it. But here's the tease. You know all the cavelling we've done over the years all the angst we've had over the years about how Mitch McConnell, as Senate Majority Leader, would not give Merrick Garland a hearing to sit on the Supreme Court after being nominated by Barack Obama. We've all been mad about that for 15 years now. that Mitch McConnell did not give Merrick Garland a hearing when Obama nominated him for the Supreme Court. Joe Biden comes along years later and at least makes him Attorney General. But he did not get that hearing for the Supreme Court. And I want to confess, I've been one of those persons complaining about that for years as well, that the Democrats were done dirty by Mitch McConnell. I believe they could have fought back more aggressively, starting with Barack Obama himself. The Democrats did not. That's Danielle's point. Too often we don't stand up. Democrats could have done more. But I've been upset for years, disappointed for years. Upset would be too much. Disappointed for years that Merrick Garland didn't get a hearing. And now I'm starting to rethink whether or not Mitch McConnell may have been right to deny Merrick Garland a hearing. That's right, I said it. Maybe Mitch McConnell was onto something, denying Merrick Garland a hearing. I'll tell you why I feel that way when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Danielle Moody. Okay, Danielle, here's my thesis, and I'll shut up and let you respond to it. So everybody was upset that Merrick Garland didn't get a hearing when Barack Obama nominated him to the Supreme Court. What we did not know was that years later, Joe Biden would show up, make Merrick Garland the Attorney General, and this would happen. In no particular order, number one, he wouldn't go after Donald Trump. Had it not been for Benny Thompson and his committee doing all the work for Merrick Garland, he might never have gone after Donald Trump, number one. Number two, there are all kinds of examples I can give, including the aforementioned, that underscore how deep, how serious an institutionalist Merrick Garland is. I think nobody who knows him didn't realize that, but now we have a much clearer vision of how ingrained he is as an institutionalist. We didn't know that when Obama nominated him. Number three, we didn't know that Merrick Garland would be going after all kinds of black elected officials. I said this a couple of days ago. Look at the record. He has gone after his department and an inordinate number of black electeds during his tenure. And we did not know that he would go after the son of the president who appointed him, playing politics to curry favor, or at least, again, back to being an institutionalist. I keep coming back to that word. Danielle made this point brilliantly earlier. Merrick Garland, did this to sort of level the playing field for having gone after Trump, which he, again, wouldn't have done if Benny Thompson and him hadn't forced him. But now we have a much clearer view of who Merrick Garland is. And my question is simply this. Is this the guy? Is this the guy that we would have wanted on the Supreme Court? Look at the way he has moved or not moved, the way he has shown up or not shown up as AG. Can you imagine what he might have done, the way he might have turned once on the Supreme Court? I'm not sure in retrospect that he was the answer to the prayer. I digress, Danielle.
I 100% agree with you. I think that Merrick Garland was a poor choice by Barack Obama, even though we were living in different political times. But this is what Democrats do. Merrick Garland was chosen by Barack Obama because he was a centrist, and Obama wanted to show, look, we're going to be able to get him through. Republicans like him too, right? This is the problem, that Democrats chase Republican applause. Republicans do not do the same. Do you think that they were like, I wonder if some Democrats will like Brett Kavanaugh? I wonder if they will think that Amy Coney Barrett is worthy of their vote.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. That's why her podcast, hashtag Woke AF Daily, is so very, very popular. She speaks her truth. She does not hold her tongue, but I think you heard Danielle and I say it. We both agree on this one. Maybe for all the angst we've had for years about Merrick Garland not getting a hearing, given the way this brother has shown up as AG, I am not so sure that he would have been my first choice to be on the Supreme Court. Our remaining moments with Danielle Moody when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park,
Los Angeles, California.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Danielle Moody, at least for the last 3 minutes of this hour. That's all I have left. So, Danielle, one other thing, we circle back to where we began this conversation. Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary aboard Air Force One, was asked a number of questions about President Biden pardoning his son, Hunter. And she closed her remarks by suggesting that in the coming days, the president, as is typical, will announce other persons who he is going to grant clemency and pardon. He's going through that process now, but there will be other pardons, other persons who are given clemency between now and the time he leaves the White House. Again, every president pretty much does that on their way out the door. Here's my point. I think that Joe Biden, and we have a guest, I think, on our program tomorrow, who has wrote a powerful op-ed for the New York Times, as I recall. I'm trying to think of his name and I can't, but they'll tell me in a second here. But a guest, what's his name for Roger? What's the guest's name? Mark Osler. So Mark, thank you. Mark Osler wrote a powerful piece. You can look it up and read it before tomorrow's show, so you'll be on tap with me. So Mark Osler wrote a piece. You'll find it. Osler wrote a piece for the New York Times, basically saying that Joe Biden needs to step up his pardon game. Big piece in the New York Times. Step up your pardon game, Mr. President. That was before he pardoned his son, Hunter. I think the heat is on. The pressure is on Joe Biden to do what no president has ever done, to really go full bore in pardoning a lot of people who deserve it, who've earned it, who've paid their debt to society. That's my read, that he ought to do a whole lot more, given what he's done for his son. I don't know that we should hold our breath in that regard. But Danielle, I give the final thought to you with the minute that I have left.
Yes, I agree. I think that his pardon game should be completely stepped up. I think that there are tons of Black people and people of color that are serving out unprecedented sentences on, low-level drug crimes, where now you have marijuana, a multi-billion-dollar business for white people, and there are Black people still serving jail sentences for that. And I think that he can have a great impact in the next couple of weeks. Am I going to hold my breath, Tavis? No, because I don't want to pass out.
So I was just checking with my team here just to make sure I give you the right information. So it is tomorrow. Mark Osler is on tomorrow, and he's the lead guest tomorrow. So at the top of the show tomorrow, you will hear Mark Osler just really go in depth on why and the ways in which Joe Biden can step up his pardon game. And again, I've not spoke to Mark since he wrote that piece for the New York Times. But now that Biden has pardoned his son Hunter, I am anxious to get to Mark Osler tomorrow to hear what he has to say about what Joe Biden ought to be doing between now and January the 20th. We'll leave it there until tomorrow, at least on this subject. I still got 2 hours in front of me. Danielle Moody, is always a delight to speak with you. I always appreciate hearing your insights. She is the host of the very popular podcast, #Woke AF Daily, 2 other podcasts, #The New Abnormal, #Democracy-ish. She's a busy sister. How she squeezed us in, I do not know, but I am grateful. Danielle, I'll talk to you soon. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, Tavis. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. The White House is denying President Biden lied when he previously said he would not pardon his son Hunter. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters on Air Force One that Biden came to this decision this weekend. A doctor is offering safety tips for holiday decorations. Carol Parson, Hannah Kobayashi, missing since November, intentionally missed her flight from LAX to NYC.